Shalom, brothers and sisters, and welcome to more news from around the world. And again, the news is coming in hot, ready, and fast, so again, difficult to keep up. But let's try and look at some of the most important headlines to date that have just taken place over the last few weeks. Iran has struck Abu Dhabi. 2 large explosions. A tower block was also hit. And then 12 were wounded at the Aba airport, southwest of the kingdom, due to suicide drone attacks. These are suicide drones you can see. Saudi-led coalition planes are attacking Houthi targets in Sana'a. This whole situation keeps deteriorating, and this is part of your wars and rumors of wars that are ongoing in the Middle East. Israel is currently attacking a number of targets in the Damascus area. Multiple explosions have been recorded. The Russian ambassador to Damascus statement is, Russia strongly condemns the illegal Israeli attacks on Syrian soil. They pose a threat to international civil aviation and cause damage to life and property. The Russian foreign ministry woman, Israel must stop its raids in Syria to avoid escalation in the region. This is a straight-up threat on Israel from Russia. This is the setup for that whole situation, the Gog-Magog, Ezekiel 38, where those nations are all going to get together and strike against Israel. It's coming sooner than anyone can notice. And then on top of all the tensions in the entire Ukraine situation and China and Taiwan, while tension is rising across Europe, Iran is stepping up its efforts to smuggle weapons into Syria. More cargo flights from Tehran are landing in Damascus. Every time this happens and they smuggle those weapons, whatever they are, underneath Damascus and squirreled away into warehouses and bunkers, Israel attacks. One of these days, she's going to attack something that's going to do irreparable damage to Damascus, which will leave it a ruinous heap. And this could be that catalyst that brings them all together finally to strike out against Israel, as the Bible has foretold. UK Jews recorded 2,255 anti-Semitic incidents in 2021, the highest tally in Europe for that period. The world is standing up against Israel. Anti-Semitism is growing. The tension between her and Russia, who's supposed to be on good terms with each other, is growing. Everything seems to be spiraling out of control towards what the Bible has told us is going to happen. Stand strong, seek His face, pray, for we are living on the edge of eternity. Iran has unveiled a new missile that can reach up to 1,450 kilometers. This covers the whole of Israel within its reach. They named this missile after the location where in 628 AD Muhammad slaughtered the Jews in Saudi Arabia, the Kaaba. Then, in further news, North Korea completes a secret base for missiles. The Hoijong-ni base near the Chinese border will likely house intercontinental ballistic missiles. They've also had a lot of success with all their missile tests lately, as they now have Russian support with their software systems. This is a problem worth watching. World powers and Iran are again on the verge of entering a nuclear agreement as it goes into the final stages. The first time in 2015, Netanyahu reacted with fury. This time, however, Israel's reaction, 7 years later, is a barely registered, muted opposition. Why is this important? Because Iran is going to play a major role in these attacks against Israel that are coming. She's a big ally with Russia, and with all of these things that she's achieving now and demanding and getting away with it, she's also proving that America has become weak and that they can take advantage of this. This is bad news for everybody, not just America. Su-35 fighter jets have taken up combat duty in Belarus. Ministry of Defense of the Russian Foundation. Why is this important? They're moving their active fighter squadrons into range and right on the border of Ukraine. They've also moved their MiG-31s that carry the hypersonic missiles that can be armed with nuclear warheads, and these have been spotted landing with these hypersonic missiles connected to their bellies. Either this is a big warning for the rest of the world, or they're preparing for something that we are expecting and seeing build up in front of our very eyes. The situation is tense, and right now just about anything is possible. It's a scary time, and it's a time where we need to be watchful to see what's going on. The main phase of the Russian-Belarusian exercise in Belarus begins on 11 February and ends on 20 February, the same day the Olympics ends. There will be a large naval exercise until the 19th in the Black Sea as well. Many experts think all of this is just a setup for the war to begin directly after the Olympics finish. The White House has even approved a plan to send 2,000 troops to Poland to help evacuate US citizens from Ukraine in case Russia invades. And as of 5 o'clock on February the 10th, Russian forces invading Ukraine attacked Pisky, Zaitsev, Ranitna, and Taramchuk. No Ukrainian casualties. Ukrainian defenders have returned fire. If you look on this map, you'll see the 4 points listed where they are already shooting at each other. So technically, this fighting has begun. Travel advisory now, code black. Invasion in the coming week. Tensions are rising in Europe. All countries have now started pulling their people out of Ukraine, 21 countries and counting. The feeling apparently in Europe is one of living on the very eve of a world war beginning. The last time this entire place felt like this and the stage was set like this was just before World War II. We're there again for the first time since then. According to Haaretz, Russia has updated Israel that the invasion will likely take place on this coming Tuesday. The US intelligence says Putin has made the decision to invade Ukraine. It's going down definitely. And the National Security Council of Ukraine has decided that weapons will now be distributed to the civilian population. This is serious, people. This is the closest we've been to a world war since World War II. This is scarier because most of the players involved in this now own and are able to use nuclear bombs. And they have hypersonic missiles. There is no defense against hypersonic missiles. Russia's already shown the world that her MiG-31s are there with hypersonic missiles equipped, so she can strike any country that looks for trouble with her. A lot of prayer is needed for the civilians that unwittingly can be caught in this crossfire, and that calmer minds will prevail when it comes to nuclear technology, that it will not at least go that far, but we don't know. We can see the alliances growing stronger between the Gog and Magog nations of alliances. China again with Putin sending a strong message that they stand together, that they could possibly face off against America happily. China as well sitting there, and she's again starting with her trouble with Taiwan. She might attack Taiwan at the same time as Russia takes Ukraine, because that would split everyone's attention. This is a possibility that I'm entertaining and looking at in the coming weeks. Coming week probably. And if that happens, who knows who's next? Are they going to strike America directly after that? This is a tense situation, and one where I'm advising you to not just look at the normal news agencies that you have available to you, where it's controlled news and about rubbish. I'm telling you to look at all the different countries' news. Look into what they're saying specifically. Look at Russian news stations, Chinese news stations. Look at all the news you can find. And keep an eye on what's happening at the moment, because people are not talking about this, and they're not going to be talking about it openly until it's too late. Watch and pray.